So my name is Johan Kersten. I've been in the drinking industry for about 20 years, since I was 18, from cocktail bartender to doing brand activations for Diageo. Started importing in the Netherlands. The last 5 years in a small distillery in Schiedam. And now I have Lucie Drinks, where I connect brand owners like Kiro to importers like the Crane House. Not this specific example, but that's what I do. So in this talk, I will guide you through one market, which is my home country, the Netherlands. And I want to talk to you through a few points that before you do export, think about the following points. So packaging is one, then the logistics, then how the route to market works. Then I would advise you to do a small price exercise. You can look into the market, the figures, so you have a realistic expectation for volume. Some potential importers that you can attack, and like Mika said from Kiro, what are your marketing options in the country? So in your country, you're quite limited, which makes easy choices. In our country, we have a few more choices. So to go through, obviously the go-to volume in the Netherlands is 700 milliliter bottles. You can do a liter, you can do half a liter, but generally 700. Most American brands, they will start with 750s. Forget it, they're not allowed, it's illegal. Then your category naming. So what is your product? Is it a cognac or a whiskey? And there are varieties. So if you have 100 grams sugar, it can be a bitter like Campari, but you can also be a liqueur like Crème de Cassis. When you import into the EU, this can make a difference for your tariffs, for instance, or your market positioning on the shelf in a liquor shop. Then, we're not yogurt, so we don't need to know all your ingredients. But when you do have allergens inside, we would like to know, so stick them on the label. And then there are certain rules how you write your volume and your alcohol percentage. So in our case, we would like to see on the box the amount of bottles and the amount of volume. So all these rules you have to adhere to, and then there might be some specific rules for your category. Anyway, you can check with your importer, like Kranehouse, he should know for Germany, or an agent like me, or when you have your own export director, let him or her dig into it. Then you got your packaging is right. Then you need to start thinking, how do I get the stuff into that country? So do you have a shipper? Do you have a company that is known for transporting alcohol over sea or over big amounts of land? How do you work with tariffs? Who is paying the shipping cost? And do you maintain a hub in the Netherlands so you can also distribute to Finland, to Germany, so you have your warehouse here locally? And that brings to another point, who is your fiscal representative? So in order to do business in the Netherlands, somebody needs to be invoiced and somebody receives the money. So is that you? Is that the warehouse? Is that an agent? Is it an importer? So more considerations for you. And how do you want to deal with your foreign exchange risk? So do you believe in the dollar, euro that stays consistent? Can you take the hit if one of the two dives? So there are multiple possibilities for you to take this in account or to disregard it, but at least you thought about it. So then you have your packaging done, you got your stuff in the Netherlands, then it's time to start selling. So you need to know, how does it work? So Finland, for instance, has the monopoly system, and the Netherlands has a different system. We have a free market. So taking consideration, once you do Europe, every country is completely different. So this is just one slide for Europe. You start with your importer, and you go to the end consumer, who is the person that drinks it, and your bottle travels all the way through. So I want to do this route with you. So you have your importer. They usually take between 20 and 50% markup on the bottle, depends who it is. You go to a wholesale off-trader, so it's like a wholesaler, but specifically designed for off-trade markets. They will sell to an independent liquor shop, so it's just an entrepreneur that has 1 or 2 shops, and they will sell to the end consumer. So this is one route. But as you can see, there are multiple ways to get your product to the consumer. And this is what you would call channel management, I would say. So you can think of each channel. Do you want to do them all at the same time? So Crane House is proposing we do off-trade and on-trade both. And then that depends on the market, obviously. So if you have a big retail market, maybe you should focus on the off-trade. And how does that work in the price? So here is one exercise just to take into account. Let's say you sell your product for 10 euros for the bottle price. So that is excluding tax, just the bottle for a 40% ABV product at 700 milliliters per bottle. An importer will add another 35%, so he reaches €13.50. The importer sells it to the wholesaler, and the wholesaler adds another 20%, so that's €16.20. The wholesaler, up until now, everything is excise free, so there's no excise tax on the bottle. The wholesaler will sell to a liquor shop, so he will add the excise tax. So the excise tax in our case is €4.72 for one bottle of 40% alcohol. So that is the trade price, including excise tax, excluding the VAT or the sales tax. And then the liquor shop, usually they say, well, we buy at the trade price and we do times 1.7 and we have a retail price. So your bottle for €10 will be €35 for the consumer. Understanding this price exercise will give you a guidance who your competition will be on the shelf or in the bar. So if you want to compete with a product that is priced at €20, you're too expensive, you need to lower your price, or you can up the price if you want to get higher. So this is how it generally works. Then if we look into the market, these are statistics from IWSR. I suppose you've heard of them. They're great in numbers. So the total beverage market is in thousands of 9-liter cases. And you can see spirits is relatively small when you compare to wine and beer. So that's one point to take into consideration. And if you break it down, you see that the Dutch really like whiskey. Gin and Genever is a big category. You can also see per year how it's growing and the expectation for the next 5 years. So that's the last column, 18 to 23. We expect that agave-based products will grow 5% in the total market, which is nice. And brandy will take a dive. It's been diving quite some time, as you can see. Gin and Genever is diving. That is because it's gin and Genever. So gin is on the up. Genever is on the down. So you have to look into the category to understand, because otherwise you would have a misrepresentation of the brand. So let's look at vodka, for instance. These are the leading brands per category. And it'll show that Smirnoff is quite big. So if you want to attack Smirnoff, bring some cash. But it'll give you a realistic approach if you want to go, let's say, in this price range. 6,000 9-liter cases is the volume, or 2,600 9-liter cases. If you do comparative marketing efforts, as your colleagues are also doing. And then you can make a calculation of your ex-works price, your estimated volume, how much money do you keep. That's your marketing budget for the first year, and then you push. So I think this, to dive into the numbers, will give you an idea of what you can expect. You can get this data for any country. So now you know how the market works, you know your price, what it will be. It's time to find somebody to sell your product. So I just took 5 of importers. A Brand New Day as Jack Daniels with Brown Forman, for instance. Maxim has the Bulls, and Edgerton and Grants. Gusta Brands works with Vanguard, which is Jimara, Kevral, Diplomatico, with Kiro as well, I believe. You have Brescher and Timmer, they're very good in off-trades. Cooper and Barrel is part of the Kuiper, but they do some third-party brands as well. But there are many more importers. But I would advise you, once you find an importer on Google or through an agent or whatever, look into their portfolio and see if they don't have competing products, and maybe you can adjust your price. So if you see, oh, we were talking about vodka, they have Finlandia, for instance. Maybe you can make your vodka price lower, so it's not competing with Finlandia, or make it higher, so it's again not competing in the same category. So do your homework, look closely at the price of the portfolio of the importer, and then make a decision. Does that fit your price? Does it cannibalize their products already? And then you can make a good market proposition. Then marketing, what can you do? Well, in our market, we have a few trade shows. So high-end bar like Bar Convent, we also have one, The Perfect Serve. We have an overall bar, hotel, horeca thing, that's the Horecava. We've got one specifically for the off-trades, which is now Modern Drinks. It used to be called the Expo Houten, maybe you know it. And then we have some consumer festivals like the Whiskey Festival. You can do drinks magazines. We have them specifically for the trade or for consumers. You have lifestyle magazines. And what's very interesting about the Dutch market, you can tap into big events that are really Dutch, like the Gay Pride, or we have Formula One next year. And you can do sampling. You can sell your spirits there as well. So these are very interesting moments to catch liquor on lips moments that I would advise to you. And I think that is in short how it would work in the Netherlands.
Right.
And then you can copy paste this work ethic to other countries and you'll be happy.